All right, welcome to another episode of Song Title Challenge. And Brent, I got to tell you, I'm loving that we just moved on to bringing guests on to this little thing. We've done this, we probably did almost
We
100
did
episodes
we did 99 episodes before our first guest.
before our
So,
first guest.
yes.
And then we're like, duh, like we should
We
just bring on guests. If we only knew some people who knew how to write
if
songs in this
only.
industry, that would be
Yes.
fun. So what this episode is, where what Song Title Challenge is about, is this is the question is, how would you write this one, climbers? We get listeners of this podcast send in their song titles, send them to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular, there is no S. info@daredevilproduction.com. Put Song Title Challenge or STC in the subject line. You can send in as many as you want. You can send in a list. You can send in as many emails as you want. Just don't resend me old songs that you've already sent in, please. But I think we fixed that now, which is cool. Uh, and then I go down, I pick one, and I spring it live to Brent and our guest on the podcast. And we just sort of mimic what you should be doing either ideally prior to walking in a writing room, or what sometimes will happen if somebody drops a title in the writing room and he's like, oh, and they like the title, let's write that. And then you just cook up 5 or 6 different ways to conceptual ways to go down the road on lyrics. This is not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. You can use all of what we say. You can use none of what we say. And today we have a very, very special guest, and Mr. Chris Wallen. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for
Chris.
having me.
I feel like, Chris, if you keep eating your Wheaties and drinking some milk, you could amount to a pretty good songwriter someday, because I feel like you got what it takes.
Well,
but it's
that
not just
is
me
yet
that
to
thinks
be
that.
seen.
Yes.
It's not just me that thinks. I mean, Chris's songs have been cut by let's see, Lori Morgan, Garth Brooks. Who's that? Is that the new guy? Garth?
Yeah,
is
it
that the
is,
guy
yeah.
that Montgomery Gentry, Sammy Kershaw, Tommy Shane Snyder, Trace Atkins, Michael Peterson, Anthony Smith, Jeffrey Steele, Confederate Railroad, Neil McCoy, Brian McComas, Brad Paisley, Joe Diffie, Diamond Rio, Kenny Chesney, Toby Keith, and what? Dude, you get invited to barbecues like every weekend with the big
Well,
cool
I told
stars?
somebody yesterday, listen, I always write hits. It's just sometimes the S is in the wrong place. So
That's right. Yeah.
you just have to put
Well,
the
there we
S in
go.
the right place.
Yes.
Well, there we go. So this should be super fun. I'm and Chris, thank you so much again for coming on this. Let's have some fun
Thanks
with
for
it.
having me.
The song title here is from this is from Joe Bagaki,
Okay.
and we've done one from him before, climber Joe Bagaki, and I thought, I don't know, this one just kind of stuck out to me. The title is "No Girl, No Work."
All right.
No girl, no work.
No girl, no work. All right.
Yeah.
No work.
So my hot take on this right away
Mhm.
is this is interesting. I have no idea where we can go with this. I'm almost like no shoes, no shirt, no service kind of a thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
I know Chenny's done something. Chesy's done something like that, but I I don't know. This just seems interesting to me compared to some of the other like amazing concepts we've come up with on a really what on the surface looks like to be a very mundane, boring
Right.
title.
Mhm.
Anybody want to add anything to that?
No girl, no work.
It
I'm trying to
same to me. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. So I'm like, oh, I'd want if I saw that on a playlist or something, I'd be curious to see what they did with it, which is a good place to start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
My first impression is, I'm a country hammer, so most things look like country nails to me. So I think the obvious one that we'd probably want to avoid is just the woe is me, down on my luck, no girl, no work. I'm out of a job. I don't have my girl left me kind of thing, which is probably the most obvious baked in. Like I've got no girl, no work.
Right. Yeah.
Which, if you're just belly aching about that commercially, that's really tough to get that cut.
Yeah,
Unless you did it
you're
really
right.
funny. I also think of like No Woman, No Cry. I think of a reggae thing. No girl, no
Yeah.
work. You know,
Yeah.
No woman, no cry.
it makes you think of that.
No girl, no work.
I think, well, what if it's the opposite of that? What if this is
Mhm.
a party song? Like, what
Yep.
if this is a rally round the boys party song and it's just about, being that lonely sort of hedonistic, maybe that's a little too much for country, but definitely, the road artist, right? You're out on
Mhm.
the road, no
Right,
girl,
right,
no
right.
work. You never had a day of work in your life, right? Because you
Mhm.
love what you do. And we're okay. Maybe it's about the band. It's like a road song. It's
Mhm.
something like that. Like, um,
I'm trying
that
to
could
think
be
of a
interesting.
way too where to, if there's a third, like a
Mhm.
hook, like a grab, and where it said, I don't know if this is
Like
it
it
yet.
bookends the chorus, like it starts off no girl, no work, blah blah blah. Then it comes back around and goes no girl, no work, but a whole lot of fun,
Right.
kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
that
Well, I was
stinger at
thinking,
the end.
no, no girl, no work. Actually, what if you switch that around to where no work, no girl?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
She
no,
she
yeah,
wants a guy with
I
some
know that. That's
prospects.
why I work hard.
That's
Like,
That's why
yeah,
I work. No
I like
work,
that.
no
yeah.
girl.
I like that. Now, okay, what about this? What about the sort of adage that behind every successful man is a good woman, right?
Yeah.
So what if it's like with no girl, no work, we go down that road and it's like I want to find it's an uplifting,
Mhm.
put the girl on
Right,
a
right.
pedestal.
It's kinda like nothing works without the girl,
Yeah.
you know?
Ooh,
Yeah.
no girl, no work. No, it don't work without the
The
girl.
kinda thing. Yeah, if there's a way to
Something.
kinda
Yeah.
Is there a
pull
play?
that
Can we
out
play
there.
that?
No girl, no work, said nobody.
Said,
Right,
Ever.
yeah.
oh, that's good. Said no one ever.
Said
Ever.
no one
Right.
ever.
That's I like that one.
Yeah.
No word said no one
Said
ever.
Whatever.
no
And it
one
gets a
ever.
no in there again, which is always
Exactly.
great
Kind
if
of
you can
plays
give it
on
that
it.
little
Yeah.
thing. It makes it a thing. I think of the thing of too, like, girls are great, but they're a lot of work. So maybe work isn't the
Oh,
9 to 5, but the work is
the girl.
the girl,
Yeah.
like of
Yeah.
keeping her happy and all the stuff that goes into it. It's good work if you can get it, but depending on the girl, it may be more work than others. And so I wonder if that's a thing. It's like, I'm still clocking in, but no girl, no work. Like like if this person was
Oh,
really high maintenance kind of thing, which is kind of more of a negative thing, but could be
I think you
funny.
kind of
No
I think you
girl.
kind of said it there, but no, you make it positive. You're like it's all about how much work a relationship is, right? So
Hmm.
it kind of feels like coming out in the lyric that you're going to be doing this, but then you turn it around in the chorus. That's the ambush, right? It's like, but with me, no girl, no work. And you said something before. What did you say, Brent? It was like, but I'm still working on. Like we
Oh,
can do the hook with the
Yeah.
re-mentioning the work. I'm still working on the girl.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you can also do, like, some guys, think it's, they always talk about how much work it is
Hmm.
with the girl and everything, but it's like something, but no girl, no work, no thanks, because
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you want
Yeah.
there
it,
you
you
go.
want the work because you get when you work at it, you get the girl. So so it could be,
Yeah. I want those things. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I
it's
like
kind of
that. No girl, no work, no
No
thanks. Yeah,
thanks.
no
a
thanks.
man needs, a man needs a woman to win, work to do, like a battle to fight, like a man needs a mission, right? So it could kind of
Right.
play into that. Like I see that stuff, almost like see the people that they think they're free and all that stuff, don't want any of that stuff. Well, no, I need some of that stuff. No girl, no work, no point.
Yeah,
Right.
Like,
freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
something along that line.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
You know,
you
you
talk
could
about all that.
actually you could
Go ahead.
actually do like a whole thing. What we're talking about here: no girl, no work, no point, because blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
No girl, no work, no thanks,
Yeah. You could
because
Yeah.
just kind of
it's
play off
worth
that.
it. Blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
No, no girl, no work, no way I'm gonna da 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 da.
Yeah.
No, no way I'm gonna do that because
Oh,
Hmm.
that's interesting. Like that could be like
you
how
could
we're
use
starting
it
down each one of those, like almost each one
exactly
of the verses.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
right.
like a AAA kind of thing with that tag on the end,
Hmm.
structure wise in the song. That's
Yeah, it
interesting.
may be kind of that thought of like, no girl, no work, just sitting on a beach. Like, because we all have those times where we're just like, I just want to be free of everything and just go sit on a beach and have nothing,
Right,
nobody depending on me, no expectations, no responsibilities. Like at times we all just want that, right? At least for a little bit. But you realize
right.
that, dude, no girl, no work, no thanks. So it could be starting off like a
Yeah,
verse with that, like that fantasy of just, I just want to get away from all this stuff. But then the chorus is going, but there's kind of no point without this good stuff. A man needs a mission. And so therefore, no girl, no work, no thanks. And then second verse,
yeah,
going to why that's worth it and why that's good for you. Like I'd be a worthless piece of crap, self-indulgent, self-centered, and that's not good for me or anybody else. Kind of thing.
right.
If there's a way to do it without being preachy, but just going, I realize what I have and I'm thankful for what I have,
Well,
kind of thing.
this is actually a really story that just happened with that. I was on a 2-day media shoot with one of my corporate clients, and a couple weeks ago, I called them up to, hey, I needed some answer for something from them. And Angie, the wife, picks up the phone and she's like, I am on a beach right now in a bikini line next to my husband. I'm like, why did you pick up the phone? And she was like, because you're calling. And every time you call, like brilliant stuff happens, like blah, blah, blah. And she's like, she goes, she goes, I got to tell you something. Like, this is our anniversary vacation. They live in Arkansas. They're down at the beach. We had this whole thing planned with a bed, with an Airbnb away from all the kids. We were down here for 3 days and we're like, we miss the kids. Like, so
Yeah.
they got somebody to drive the kids down and just because they wanted to be around the family. I mean, it's
Uh,
so
that's
that kind of
cool.
a thing I think could be really like in that mode of what you were talking about could be very, very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, you could do almost story-esque thing in the verses too, talking about where she, it was going to be a couple's
Hmm.
kind of getaway, and she
Yeah.
couldn't make it,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
something happened, and she wasn't there. Like,
Yeah.
and he's like, man, this is, you
Doesn't
know,
work.
uh, it
No
doesn't.
work.
Yeah,
No worky.
no, yeah, it's
no
like
working.
no worky.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
You know what?
what if you know what it also makes me think about? Like when I was like 12, no girl, no work, no problems. I mean, that's playing off the Chesney thing. No shirt, no
Yeah,
shoes, no problems. I don't want Casey to hit me in the head or anything, or anyone else that really want. Um, but it makes me think about like, yeah, when you're a young boy, like you don't want anything to do with, you don't have anything to do with girls, and you don't have any work except maybe a little bit of homework. You're like,
right.
I'm free. And it's like no girl, no work, and no perspective on how good you got it right now. It's like my kids complain. You're like, listen, this is the easiest you will ever have it. Girls are great, but there's everything's trade-offs. Uh,
No girl, no work, no life.
yeah,
Uh,
that or just like it could be about being a kid, like, and it was just like no
that's
worry,
interesting.
kind of no worries kind of thing. Could just be a different angle on it. So, um,
Actually, yeah. I mean, what if it is a kid? It's like something about he's not something da da da. Maybe it's hurry. Be in a
mhm.
hurry. He don't have to be in a hurry. Maybe it's just a little kid. No girl, no work, no worries.
Yeah, it could be kind of funny
It could be
too.
a funny thing.
Oh yeah, what if you're talking about, hey, uh, I don't know somebody's name, Billy, he's he's just walking through town, he's just skipping along, no girl, no work, no worries, blah blah blah, and you maybe think like he's a grown up, that he's just like this kind of vagabond or this kind of hippie kind of whatever, just carefree guy. Then you find out like he's like 12 and he's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
living life, dude. You know?
Actually,
Riding a
that's
gravy
kind of a
train
cool
with biscuit
twist.
wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a
That's it.
little jealous.
What if what if it is well, what if you kind of go down that road lyrically on like he sees that kid. That kid's got no girl, no work, no
Mhm.
worries. And it's from the perspective of, the artist, the adult artist who all of a sudden that sort of looks like lustful, like not in a
Yeah.
sexual way, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
like in a positional way or a life. Like I remember when it used to be no girl, no work, no worries.
yeah.
And I did this and I did this and I did this, but then again, it's back to the how good you got it kind of a thing. Now I've
Yeah.
got all this work, making this girl happy and you somehow you make that work sound overcoming and almost insurmountable or
Mhm.
something, but it's
Yeah.
like
Totally.
so worth it. I'm gonna climb that mountain. I'm gonna, whatever it's gonna take to make her happy because
Yeah.
that's
And you
worth it,
all the way through it, you could do that, talk about this kid, and maybe even a rhyme, something. The kid, he says what he wants to say, uh, goes where he wants to go,
Mhm.
but but he, but now you're saying no, no girl, no work, no way I'm gonna go back to that again.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
And
that's good.
maybe at a bridge or something, saying, "No way, I'm gonna go back to that again."
Yeah.
He
Like
don't know what's coming,
yeah,
type
like that was
thing.
great. It had its season and that's great and that enjoy it, but I'm not going back there. Like I don't want to go back
Right.
there. Right. It's like
I,
it's
I I I love that.
positive too.
I remember turning 30 and my 20s, like I toured in a hair band as the lead singer for 7 years. It was my 20s were crazy, and I remember freaking out about turning 30, all the apprehension. Then when I turned 30, I remember like the opposite happened. I was like relieved. I was like, wow, like I would never trade my 20s for the world, but I'm so glad they're over.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's that kind of a thing. Like I'm ready to move on. So
Yeah.
that could be worked into that same kind of sentiment. I like that.
Yeah. I wonder too about, kind of comparing the kid who's like, no girl, no work, no, no problem at all kind of thing, no worries, where he's just like, knows how good he's got it. And because that's a time when the girls are icky, and
Right.
you're more like homework or whatever. You're like, I don't want anything to do with them. And then, comparing that to a guy that's like the worst thing in the world, then the guy on the bar stool that's like, no girl, no work, like, no worries because no one's worried about me. Like I got no
So
expectations because I'm
every
really
time
low.
somebody does the chorus and says that hook, it could
Mhm.
be someone else talking.
Yeah.
Like the first verse could be this kid, and it could be what he's saying. No girl,
Mhm.
no work. This is awesome.
Right.
you
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
and then you could either on the second one, it could either be him 10 years later,
Mhm. Yeah.
or it could be a whole other third guy saying, "You're crazy, no work, girl, no work, no way."
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
and it could be the two different things, and it's like you're gonna in a couple of years you're gonna find out. You know,
Yeah.
my nephew, when he was real little, he made up a joke which was amazingly funny. He was just a little bitty. He goes, "Uncle Chris, I got a joke." I said, "Okay." He goes, "Why do girls?" He goes, "Why do girls wear makeup and perfume?" I said, I don't know, Nick. Why?" He said, "Because they stink and they're ugly." And I was like, "That's awesome." I said, "But you're not going to want
I
to
want a
tell that in a
T-shirt
few
like that.
years. You're not
Right.
going to want to tell that."
Oh, I love
Oh
that.
yeah. How that changes over time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
That's funny.
he's married with a kid now, so
Yeah.
How about this? What is there a way? Maybe this is convoluted, but is there a way to tell this story from, my sister, my baby sister is an ER physician. Her husband's a stay-at-home dad.
Mm-hmm.
What
right.
if it's like from that kind of uplifting the girl? Is there a way we can go there and say that? Like,
Uh-huh.
but I guess that is the girl, but it's just like you got, I don't know. You don't know
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
word.
Hmm.
yeah. No girl,
No
no
girl,
work.
no work.
No girl.
I'm not sure how you do that.
No.
Because I've kind of in the back of my mind been wondering, like, how could a girl sing this? You know,
Right.
like how could she say to a guy or something, "No girl, no work"? I don't know. She could be saying, I don't know. But it could probably go back to the "no work, no girl." Um,
No
Right,
girl, no
right.
work, no work, no girl.
yeah,
No work, no girl. No girl, no worky.
yeah. Makes me think of like a boys' night out or a boys' retreat, like fishing weekend. No girl, no work,
Work.
no bites,
Yeah.
or that kind of thing.
That's
Like,
And nobody
interesting.
cares. No
yeah,
girls, no work, no bites, nobody cares.
like
Yeah.
we're just having the guys' weekend. We love our girls. We'll go back to them when it's over. We'll go back to work
That's
on
really
Monday. But
interesting
for the
there,
weekend, no girl, no work, no worries at all.
No girl,
I like
no
that. I
work.
think that's the best one we got so
That
far.
could just be fun because
I like that was
yeah,
the most commercial, um,
yeah,
you know, where it's just a bunch of guys and, no girl, no girl.
no,
No
go,
bites.
it's like no girl, no work, no picking up the phone, no kind of responsibilities. No one, like, and we're staying here, so nobody's got to not drive home. Like we're,
Right.
get right, stay the night. We're at, nowhere to go. We're at this cabin. We're on the lake or we're on the river. Man, it's just,
And
it's
you
all
could
go.
progress it. You could
Hmm.
progress it where, at first they're talking about, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
No girl, no girl, no work. Just you could do excuse me while I whoop this out. Uh, like no girl, no work, no. What we're no girl. I start no girl, no work, no listening to da 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 da.
Hmm.
Do it. Saying cuss words out loud, and we're
Yeah. No swear jar. Yeah.
yeah, no swear and all this
Kind of
stuff, and
like no
but
rules,
then
man. No one to look
no
down at
rules.
us. Yeah.
But then the second verse it says, you know, when we drank all the beer and we did
Hmm.
we did all the stuff, and it's like we're checking our phones,
Yeah.
and
Like they okay.
and
So
so
is
now it's going
Nashville.
back to the girl saying, this is just ain't no fun with
Yeah,
no
yeah.
Yeah.
girl, no
Like
work.
Yeah.
they go hard to the paint on the first boys' night, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody does when they come to Nashville on Broadway, hard to the paint the first night, and they're all banged up the next day. Now I got a hangover. I need
Yeah,
my back scratched, and I got no girl, no work,
no
and
work.
nobody looking after me. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
nobody
I think
cares.
that, yeah, and it progresses to where it, they're all calling the girls, I miss you,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that's probably the most commercial and the most if we were writing it, that's what I think
Mhm.
it would probably end up something like that anyway.
Well, that's some good
Yeah.
looks at it right there, guys. That was, yeah, that took some digging, but towards the end, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the story. Like, yeah, everybody's just like, yeah, screw the girls, it's just
Yeah,
boys. And then the next day, they're like, oh my god, like, like
Yeah.
nobody
yeah,
taking care of me here.
I didn't pack any aspirin because I'm a guy and I don't think about that stuff.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, Well, so there you go, Chris Wallen. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
thanks,
Man,
bud.
thank you.
for
Yeah,
doing this. And I know like you're in the process of putting together a course for songwriting to share your craft, your expertise, aren't you?
I am. I am. I've been working on it a while, and it's actually, I'm going to be launching it pretty soon, and it's buildinggreatsongs.com, and I have a thing too. If it's top 10 costly mistakes new songwriters make, it's a free download and it'll get you on the email list and everything. Go to buildinggreatsongs.com/top 10.
Cool.
Okay.
And but yeah,
Building
yeah,
great
yeah,
songs,
I'm
but
really
we'll put those
excited
links
about it.
in the show notes.
Yeah, and we mentioned some of Chris's cuts, and but specifically, "Don't Blink," Kenny Chesney. Chris had a hand in writing that. Montgomery Gentry's "Speed" and "Something to Be Proud of." Trace Atkins, "I'm Trying." Just some great songs. I think you're on Toby Keith's "Love Me If You Can," right?
I am.
Yep.
I
So
am.
man,
Yeah.
just some killer songs. I've been a fan of Chris ever since I first moved to Nashville and go see him, like Tony Lane and people at the Broken Spoke.
Oh man,
And so
love Tony.
it's been cool to get to know you some. But I definitely can recommend your stuff to people. I haven't seen the course, but I've heard your songs. So
Well, I
I
appreciate
can give the recommendation wholeheartedly.
So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And you know what, Chris? When it's time to launch that, I think maybe you come back on the podcast as a guest and let's talk about it
Yeah.
I would love that. I
and
would
set
love
that
that.
up for you because any way that we can help you, man. We'd love to do it because what you're going to be doing is helping songwriters and artists, and that's what this podcast is all about. So,
Man, I just want, somebody asked me the other day about it. I said, I just want to be a part of great songs, whether
Cuts
it's
out when he
me
says something
writing
about
them.
us.
Did I cut out for a second?
Yeah, you cut out for
I
a
want
second.
to.
Sorry.
Okay. So I want to be a part of great songs, whether it's me writing them or whether I facilitate someone else writing them. I think the world needs more great songs. So that's
well,
Amen.
that's what I
I,
want to do.
I love that. So let's wrap it up there, guys. Once again, Chris Wallen, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so
Song
much
title
for having me.
challenge, guys. Send your titles in to info@daredevilproduction.com and put STC or song title challenge in the subject line so it gets in the right folder. If you don't, it won't. All right. And this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.